Acknowledge me!
You just made the list!
I am the B-E-S-T.
I'm better than you, and you know it. Damn.
Welcome back to Down Under the Mat podcast here in Madison Square Garage around the pool table of relevancy. To my left, Mr. Daniel Danielson. To my right, Rowdy Reece. I am Booker Ted, and let us talk to you about wrestling. And there's a lot to go over.
This could be the most electrifying podcast we've ever done.
And hopefully it'll be the first podcast that we actually upload to Spotify. So keep an eye out for that. And that obviously that means that those of you that might listen on Spotify will not have the benefit of my awesome video editing. And we are very aware of the fact that we need to be a little bit better with our audio because it's going to go on Spotify. So Reece's microphone has been turned up.
Yeah.
I'm going to not talk over people, and Dan's not going to talk rubbish. So
I can't guarantee anything. I really can't. Sorry.
Oh, far out, man. I thought you told me you talked to me.
No, I didn't. The check's still in the mail. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. So we're going to start off. Because it's a massive list. There's really a lot to talk about. I know normally we just sort of cover Raw and Smackdown, but there's many other things that we need to touch on.
This is a big week for wrestling. Before we touch on that, how good's the weather right now? We're all in t-shirt and shorts.
Dude, it is
It's
amazing.
great.
It's beautiful.
Fantastic.
As long as if there was no wind, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
It's a bit windy out there.
That's
but you can't have it both ways. So,
What do we start with? That's the question.
Well, I know exactly what we're going to start with. We're going to start with the PWI list.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Controversial start to the show.
Top 500. And we're just going to touch on the top 10 because obviously there's absolutely way too much to talk about if we were to go any higher than that. So just as a reminder for those of you at home that may not have seen, the top 10 list at number...
First of all, what is the PWI 500?
Well, how about you let us know that?
Pro Wrestling
to people
Illustrated top 500 wrestlers of the world.
Yep.
This year.
There you go. That's the PWI list.
Yeah.
It's also based off of wins and losses and
good old
match
Dave
ratings
Meltzer's star rating.
You're still not going to change my mind on what we're going to talk about with it, but yeah.
I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to set the scene accurately so that we understand why some of these things make no sense.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Thank you for your input. We're going to discuss it right now. So the top 10. Number 1 was Seth freaking Rollins. Number 2, Mr. Roman Reigns. And rounding out the top 3, Mr. John Moxley. So the Shield took out 1, 2, and 3. Number 4 was Gunther. And then we had at number 5, I'm probably going to murder this name, Hijo del Vikingo.
Hijo del Vikingo.
Vikingo. At number 6 was I'm Better Than You, MJF. Number 7 was Okada. At number 8 was Orange Cassidy. Number 9, Josh Alexander from Impact. And number 10 was Cody Rhodes. So
that is a list.
That is the list.
That is a list of names.
Now, I know the first thing you probably want to talk about with it, Dan, is the fact that there are females on the top 500 list.
Well, there is a female.
And what ranking was that?
15. Highest ranked women's wrestler in PWI.
And clearly, the highest ranking female wrestler is going to be in the biggest company, champion for the longest time, the best record. It's got to be Rhea
Ripley.
No, it's not.
It's not Rhea Ripley.
It's fine. If it's not Rhea Ripley, then it's like her challenger, the one that had the titles the whole time. It's Charlotte. It's not Charlotte Flair.
It's not Charlotte Flair.
It's not Becky Lynch.
It's not Becky Lynch. It's not Oscar.
It's not
Belair.
Okay, fine. Then we go to AEW. You go to the undefeated Jade Cargill, who held the title for the.
No, it's not her.
Nope.
So no, but it must be Saraya, right?
Nope.
No.
Britt Baker.
It must be.
Guys,
Who is it then?
wrong company.
What was her name again?
For those of you who are massive Impact fans, you're probably
Hello to the 7 of you watching.
7. That's breaking records.
Masha Slamovich.
That is the worst made-up wrestling name I've ever heard of in my life.
Duh.
Like Slamovich.
Oh, man. So that's the biggest problem we have, to be honest, with the
She's
list as a
currently
whole.
Killer Kelly's tag team partner, and they're Knockouts women's
Kelly
tag.
Kelly?
Killer Kelly.
Who's Killer Kelly? Is she related to
mate.
Kelly Kelly?
I covered about her in the Impact Down Under.
Okay, so it's
segment.
not. All right, cool. Okay.
But yeah, they're knockouts tag team champions.
So my issue with this rating, fair enough, this person might be great. Good for her.
I haven't seen any of her work, so I can't judge.
If this was purely a 500 list of just male superstars and there was no women involved, fine. I know there is a separate list that they'll release for females, probably in October or later on. But if you're going to put a woman somewhere in the top 100, and it's not like Rhea Bloody Ripley, right now, I just don't understand how that works. I don't get it.
I thought it was a bit weird as well because I quickly jumped on Wikipedia to have a look at like her history. Apparently, she's only been wrestling for 6 years as well.
Wow. Okay.
So like to have that sort of accolade given to her, she must be pretty goddamn.
Oh,
good.
I'm not discrediting that, but how good can you be as an Impact knockout in comparison to the world of wrestling, where there is, we've already said Ring of Honor, AEW, WWE, all bigger companies.
Yeah.
I guess my question for you, because you said before, obviously, one of the factors that it's based off of that list is the match ratings. Are they going off Dave Meltzer? They must be. Looking at that list, for John Moxley to be in the top 3, it's got to be based off Dave Meltzer's 6-star, 7-star. That skewer to the head was beautiful.
The skewer to the head, I don't think, is anything for Moxley. In this
Dude, he
case.
can wrestle, but I just don't think he deserves to even be in the top 10 with the way his performances at the moment is just based on, blood and guts, mate. Like that's... And I guess some people are into it, but I just don't know if that gets you in the top 10.
Nah.
Top 20?
Let's look at some other like notable names that missed out on like top 15. Like Will Ospreay, 17.
Oh, dude, that's a big miss.
We all love AJ Styles. He got 99 on this list.
Yep.
Your mate. Big shout out to Robbie Eagles. 211.
Yeah, Robbie.
Made it in the top 250. Love it.
Where was Chad Gable?
I don't remember seeing him on the list unless I just...
I guess he... come on. Like...
Look, I'm glad to see that Gunther was in the top 10 because he definitely deserved it.
He definitely deserved it.
And I know I said this to you guys before, but I do question Vikingo being above MJF. And Cody Rhodes at 10, I think, is a little bit discrediting.
I know Orange Cassidy's done a lot lately, but...
So the thing that we need to...
He was number 8.
Number 8, really?
Yeah.
Are we sure?
I'll defend him, for sure. Because the list is from July to July.
You know he doesn't like CM Punk, right? They're not friends.
That doesn't really bother me.
Doesn't change his mind?
No, that's just one of this.
We'll get
Orange Cassidy, I think, had the most title defenses between July and July of any champion on television.
Okay.
All of his matches were good. He held that title for ages. I really liked his character. I think he deserves his spot in the top 10.
I'm not convinced.
Who would you put in there instead?
Will Ospreay?
Yeah, okay. I can't argue that one. I like Ospreay too. So that's not helpful for me.
Chad Gable. I guess they're probably more recent stuff.
Chad's only been getting up there the last few months.
Yeah, true. True.
I mean, there's no Otis either.
What about Escobar, man? No, now I'm just
Just stretching.
now I'm just getting too. Okay. Well, look. Anyway, let us know what you think of the PWI top 500, especially the top 10. Who do you think should have been in there? Who shouldn't have been in there?
We'll cover the women's one when that gets...
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it coming out, to be honest, because if number 1 and 2 aren't Becky and Rhea, I'll be questioning it a lot.
So just also let's put some clarity on the list, because I'm just doing a bit of a Wikipedia quick search for it.
Good old wiki search,
2021, the top 3 were Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, and then Drew McIntyre, Kota Ibushi. 2022, Roman Reigns, Okada, CM Punk, Adam Hangman Page, Bobby Lashley. 23, there's
Bobby
no
hasn't been
Lashley,
wrestling, yeah.
there's no Punk, there's no Page, there's no Omega, there's no Okada, there's no Drew.
No, Carter's there.
Oh, yeah, Okada's
7th.
Sure.
Yeah.
But, like, a lot of the people
Look at
that
those
were
top 5s.
Yeah. Consistently in the top of all. And I think the other thing to mention, too, is that this is Seth Rollins' 3rd time as number 1.
Okay.
On the list. So he topped it in 2015.
To be honest with you,
What happens when you buy into the evolution of Seth Rollins?
Well, the only reason that Seth has beaten Roman on that list is because Roman's never there now. That's the main thing. Like, he's hardly ever there. Seth turns up every week, so I think that's fair enough to give it to Seth Rollins, to be honest with you. Not that as I said before, I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he actually does deserve the number 1 spot with the amount of wrestling he's been doing. He has sort of been carrying the title defenses for quite a while now. Now they've given him the new World Heavyweight Championship because there was no title defenses happening on the shows. So, no, credit to him. I think that's fair enough.
Last year, that Rhea Ripley wasn't in the top 10 of the PWA Women's 150. So we'll intently see what that list is when it comes out.
Yeah,
Let's keep an eye on that because that's going to be a big discussion because I think there's a lot more happening in the women's side of things than the men's, to be honest with you. And I think it's pretty obvious what that list should be, but we'll see when it happens when it comes out. I don't know if you guys saw your mate CM Punk.
Yes.
Talking about him again, turned up on Cage Fighting as a commentator, and apparently it's something he did last time he was suspended as well, and he's been doing it for a while, and made the comment, well, I've got enough time on my hands for at least 2 months.
What's in 2 months, Ted?
Survivor Series?
Where's Survivor Series, Ted?
Chicago?
Let's be real. I'll probably mark out if this happens.
Just calling it.
As much shit as I like to talk about CM Punk,
And can I also...
this is going to be a good moment if that happens.
I don't know how... this is a very tenuous thread that I'm going to pull here, but GGC is aired on the UFC Fight Network, so it's a part of the UFC cage fighting thing. UFC and WWE have now merged under TKO. Does that technically mean CM Punk's already employed by the WWE?
He's got a point.
Well, didn't
even think of that.
Point.
Dude.
Same.
Oh, look, I mean, we talked about this last time, right? Like, even though, Reece has admitted he's not CM Punk's biggest fan, and he even just said, right, if he turns up, it's going to put eyes on the product.
Yeah.
And the thing
It'd be stupid not to.
The thing to it as well is when they interviewed Nick Khan, which we'll talk about in the TKO stuff, when they specifically asked him around CM Punk, he said that they all like Phil Brooks and they hope the best for him. So he didn't say yes, he didn't say no, he was just like, yeah, sure, it's a thing.
That's how you play to the masses.
Absolutely.
That's how you play to the masses.
And it's interesting, I don't know if you saw that Jim Ross actually came out and said that he is actually missing having CM Punk at AEW.
They're great mates.
Yeah. So someone likes him?
Yeah, I remember, I think I know what you were talking about. Like with that, Jim Ross was saying they had such a unique culture cultivated on that Saturday night because it was such a smaller crew that was there.
Oh, okay.
Everything was like, everyone was gelling a lot more and having a lot more fun. So it's going to be interesting to see how that, like we've already seen the ratings drop drastically.
Oh, massively. And speaking of that, things dropping, speaking about AEW, did we see about the Freedom of Information requests that came out? So All In was reported to have 81,035 fans, which was the highest paid ticket attendance of all time.
Have you seen the tattoo on Will Ospreay?
Ospreay, and then he found out while in Japan that the real number was actually 72,265. Do you reckon you can get a refund on that tattoo?
That's a pretty quick cover-up.
Oh, dude. I mean, how do you... That's 9,000 tickets that just happen to not turn up.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But saying that, I
mean, we know that WWE inflate, right?
They were constantly saying highest paid tickets.
Yeah.
The fact that they then announced it as attendance on the show was a big...
But then they
on their part.
Khan also came out and said that if you counted all the other people in the building, it was over 90,000 people there.
Which is what WWE always do.
Yeah.
Plus some when they have their shows.
So if that was the case, and now you're getting the local council coming out and saying we're 71,000, that's a big discrepancy.
What I want to know is who put in the request through Freedom of Information. That's what I want to know. Was it someone from WWE?
Yeah, I think it was Vincent
100%.
K. McMahon.
He
requested it.
Vinny McMahon. No relation to a Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Look, that was the saddest thing was poor Will Ospreay with the tattoo, man. That was rough. That was absolutely rough.
Oh, dude.
I don't know what he's going to cover it with, but good luck to the man.
Whatever his $1 million contract is when he signs with WWE next year.
Oh, jeez. Well, quickly, on AEW, you took some notes about Dynamite Dan.
We're going to start with
Is that your new name, Dynamite Dan?
I mean...
Oh, that's not bad.
That's pretty good, isn't it? Dynamite Dan.
Makes me the AEW guy, does it?
I guess.
I'm not spending the time.
You're not doing it? You can stick to Impact 1000 after what we were watching before. Jesus.
We're not even touching it.
Here we go.
Sorry. Sorry.
We will touch on it.
We're pushing the Mud Show title down.
Yeah, I call AEW a mud show, but after watching some of that Impact 1000, it's crystal clear who the mud show is.
Pause it right there.
As much as I liked going to see them when they came to Wajja Wajja.
Yeah.
Oh, so bad.
Right.
That.
I'm announcing it. As of the next show, there is going to be a swear jar
No.
Every
Just a mud
time
show count.
you
Just like
say,
right down.
I'm not putting a counter, that's more editing. We're having a jar.
On mud show.
We're having a jar, and every time you say mud show, you're putting $1 in the jar. And then that's going to pay for our team Christmas party at the end of the year.
No, that's going to
Chinese at home.
our merchandise then.
Back to the
I'm
fans.
going to buy.
All right, AEW Dynamite, Dan.
Oh, look, there's a couple of things to talk about. I'm not really going to go into too much detail because we've got so
I
many
want to hear about
things.
Big Bill.
So the first
Big
match, Moxley versus Big Bill, right?
Big Bill.
And who's Big Bill for those at home who might not know who Big Bill
He's
is?
very big. He's 7 foot tall.
Did he used to be called by the name
You
Cass?
can't teach
Big
that.
Cass?
Big Cass.
You can't teach that.
Where did Bill come from, man?
I'm pretty sure that's his name.
Yeah.
Oh. Jeez.
Anyway, the notes that I took was that it was in Ohio, so Moxley got a big home crowd
Of
pop.
course.
It was a typical start to a match. They cut to an ad break, and then they came back, and Moxley was bleeding.
Do you tell me that he bleeds Ohio? Like that's...
I don't know, because it happened in the goddamn ad break.
Dude, like, what? Oh, how much blood donation does he get? Seriously?
What I
show.
thought was so bad.
One.
was
That's up to like 5.
after this, they cut a promo backstage with Danielson and the BCC, and Moxley was just walking around like stumbling like he was drunk because he was like losing all this blood. It looked so mud show. I'll put in for that one. It was not funny. It was horrible. It's just so bad.
But he's number 3 on the list, man.
I don't even think he should be in the top 10.
Look,
Right,
he
I
can
agree
wrestle
with you.
fine. His match was
When he
good,
wants to.
but I
He
just
wants
can't stand it.
The
Anyway,
recap.
they had a good segment with Don Callis, who gets all of the heat in the world for Takeshita, saying that he's like the best in the world. He's now called the Alpha.
Because he beat Omega. Clever. Okay.
Very smart.
Very clever.
The one thing I'll point out about that segment too, if you want to go watch it, remember we complained in was it All In when there was streamers and shit everywhere?
Getting caught on the
They got
rigging.
caught
Yeah.
everywhere. They did the same thing in this segment. They dropped streamers everywhere, and one of them tied around Takeshita's ponytail. So the whole time he was talking, he had a green streamer on the back of his head.
I love it.
And then as he walked out of the ring, he must have noticed it was there, and he pulled it out, and he ripped it, and looked all aggressive. And I'm like, dude, that's a paper streamer.
It's a streamer. Come on,
What are you
mate.
doing?
Getting heat on the streamer.
Oh, man.
There was the women's match.
Yeah, didn't Tony Storm won, so she's gonna
She's going to face Saraya.
face
next week.
Soraya. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Chin up.
Tits out.
Tits out. Watch
Watch
out for the shoe.
Great promo.
Gold Coast, baby.
The
Best thing
co-
to come out of the Gold Coast.
The comment that I wrote here was that we are 45 minutes into the show, and this has already felt like 2.5 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Just so much stuff shoved into Dynamite.
Oh,
It's
man.
crazy.
I felt like that when I was watching NXT.
Yeah, same thing.
2 hour
Just-
show, and I was just like, oh, this is just like dragging on. And it even went overtime
Yeah.
yeah.
for reasons we'll discuss later.
Everyone loves singing Jericho's music. That's still massively over. It's more over than Jericho is. The him and Sammy stuff was pretty good. They had a nice promo
yeah,
between the two.
promo. Yeah, good to hype up that.
I read it. I didn't actually watch it. I read the transcript from the promo, and I want to watch it because it did actually seem like it seemed pretty good.
And it was a good promo in the sense that like you can tell that they were both still being friendly, but then they were both sort of stirring each other, and then they were both really competitive is a good word.
Okay.
So that was good. MJF
realness, yeah.
then cut a promo.
Here we go. Well, mate, better than you.
He was better than you, baby. He did the old maths promo on Samoa Joe.
Steiner Math
Oh,
2023.
How have I
Great.
not seen that?
mate.
Have you not seen Steiner Math?
No, I've seen Steinemann. I haven't seen MJF doing a.
No, I sent it to you guys. I'm sure I sent it to you guys.
I gotta watch it.
Oh,
I've missed it.
man.
I've missed it, man. I love the Steiner. It's the greatest promo of all time.
And MJF nails it. Like, word for word, spot on. He goes, you got to match with me, and then you've got a 50-50 chance, but then you put in the third person, and it's a 33 to 3% chance. But because I've beaten that person, I got a 66 to 6% chance. You add that to my 33 to 3rd, I got a 147% chance of beating you. And Adam Cole was standing there the whole time next to him, trying not to piss himself laughing at this promo.
Did Joe keep a straight face?
Joe wasn't there. No, this was
Oh,
Backstage,
right. So he
backstage,
wasn't.
backstage.
Oh, okay. Right.
So
okay.
Renee Paquette was just holding the mic, just
She was
don't laugh, don't laugh.
You can see her smirking.
Oh,
Dude, I
MJF
need to
is the
see that.
greatest. He's so good on the microphone. It's just not even funny. It's brilliant. You have to go watch it. Find that promo.
But yet not as important as Vikingo.
We're gonna keep going back to
I'm
this
sorry.
list, man.
I'll stop. I'm sorry.
And then there was a Hangman versus Brian Cage match. I don't really care about it because I don't really like Adam Page all that much. But I will admit there was a 6 spot where Cage grabbed him. So Hangman was on the ring apron, which is, as we know, the
hardest part of the ring.
Facing outward. So Cage grabbed him and Germaned him over the ropes, back into the ring.
Jeez, all right.
That was pretty cool.
Was that before or after Hangman tried to do the 619 and screwed it up?
Absolutely botched it.
I think it was...
That was the worst one I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
The area code kick.
Wow. What an original name.
What a mud show name.
Man, you guys are going to fund our Christmas party, I'll tell you. That's great.
Oh, you said next episode. So I'm going to get it all.
Oh, no, I'm counting now, too. I'm going to look back.
You said next episode.
I'm going to watch all the previous episodes.
Watch back on it.
Yeah, I renege on that. I changed my mind. What was next, Daniel?
Christian cut a promo. He's the best heel in wrestling at the moment.
He is, yeah.
He's fantastic. Next week, AEW have, what's it called? Dynamite
Grand
Slam or something, right? And it is legitimately just title matches. Like, it's the most insane weekly episode of TV that I think I've ever heard. Samoa Joe versus
the $5,000 scissor belt's going to be there?
We'll talk about that later, maybe. But Joe won the tournament. He then choked out Adam Cole and said he's going to take everything from MJF. That's going to be a sick match. So it's MJF versus Samoa Joe.
Yeah, looking forward to that, actually.
Saraya versus Tony Storm. Sick match.
Look out for the shoe.
Christian and Luchasaurus are having a match against some other people. There's like 14 other title matches. There's just a whole bunch of stuff.
So many titles.
You see they're doing Claudio Castagnoli versus Kingston?
Kingston, title for title. So that's another title match.
Okay.
Brian Danielson and...
I bet they're going to let Eddie Kingston win.
Possibly.
They probably will.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
What's his face? Moxley's going to have a match for his title against Penta, I think. Or someone else.
How many?
He's going to bleed within 4.5 minutes. Absolutely guaranteed.
Yeah, but how many, Canadian destroyers do you reckon?
Oh, about 3.
On? 3 of them,
Yeah.
at minimum?
Yeah.
More?
In the night? Or just in...
No, just in that match. In the Moxley Penta match. How many Canadian destroyers?
Probably a few. But yeah, that was AEW. Look, there's just a lot. And I mean, then there was Rampage where Jade Cargill possibly had her last match in AEW.
There's rumours that she's going to WWE.
Yeah.
If you watch the match that she had against Chris Statlander, it was quite good. But it was a definitive finish that Statlander pile driver and pinned her. And then Cargill got up, hugged her, and then waved to the crowd, and then hugged her again.
Yeah.
In a very un-Jade Cargill type moment. So I think...
News we're seeing, in case you haven't read, Jade Cargill to WWE, possibly directly to the main roster. Which I thought was kind of funny after I was shitting on her last week.
Yes, agreed. I think there's a better storyline for it, which we've discussed.
Yeah.
And I guess this will tie into the next show we can talk about, because I'm going to ruin your hosting stuff here, Ted. Sorry.
We need to talk about
I think
I quit.
Jade Cargill needs to come straight through NXT.
So that means she's going to beat
She is going to...
Becky Lynch for the title, considering
Correct.
she just beat
Correct.
old mate Stratton. Is that his name?
Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah. That was a good match.
Very good match.
Which is why the show ran over, because I think they gave him an extra 5-10 minutes past the hour.
What the man wants, the man gets.
Yeah. And it paid off. It was a great match. Very unexpected, though. I did not actually expect Becky to win. I thought there'd be something dodgy. Someone would come out, interfere, cost Becky the title.
No, I think it was probably good to do it this way. I think it builds up that title. It gives us a bit of prestige that Becky's got it. She's now
Grand
Grand
Slam
Slam champion. She's now one of the 4 horsewomen that have all won every title. I think you let Becky she put on a very, very good match with Tiffany Stratton. And Stratton looked better coming out of this than she did going into it, I think.
Fantastic.
I think that's the first full match that I've seen of Tiffany Stratton. She's absolutely fantastic.
Great. Yep.
She's got some great potential. For
Give Becky 2-3 months down there, having matches against all the NXT girls and make them all look fantastic up against Becky. And then Becky can cut the promo that, look, I've been down here for so long, no one's good enough to beat me. In comes Jade Cargill, smashes her to shreds. And then Cargill just...
I mean, if Stratton is that good, though, I hope they don't do what they've done with others and rush her to the main roster too quickly, because obviously it's a bit stacked up there with the women at the moment. There's quite a few in the main roster storylines. So let's not bring her up too quickly.
Can't do that.
Yeah, and ruin that streak. So maybe she can win it back. I don't know. We'll see.
Sorry, I was just laughing at one of my notes for NXT.
You're the NXT guy.
Big time Bex is now a small time champion.
I mean,
jeez,
that's
don't
a bit
shit on
rough.
the NXT title, man. Wow, that's a bit rough. I mean, that's the only thing I had from NXT. What else? What else did you think? Anything notable?
Pretty match. Wesley versus Ilya Dragunov.
That's a great game. Great match.
I'm already seeing people online calling that for a contender for match of the year.
Okay.
Dragunov.
Like, I was watching it. I was like, this is a good match. I didn't think that highly of it because I know like both of them great competitors, but yeah, fantastic match. It was
What do you
good
think
back
of
and forth.
Wesley at the end? Packed his bags and left.
I don't care.
Is he leaving NXT to go somewhere else, or is he just going to?
Nah, he's going to the main roster. I mean, one of the things that I've noticed is the amount
he goes
of
back to Impact to be back with his buddies.
no, the amount of times he's been mentioned by wrestlers on the main roster. They keep mentioning Wesley. I've noticed that just randomly. They'll be like, "Oh, shout out to my boy Wesley."
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, and it's like they only do that if they're going to bring someone up.
References.
Yeah, it's in random promos and like they literally just planting the seed. So I can see that they're definitely going to bring him up, but again, it's like, what do you do with him when he gets there?
Yeah.
But I guess Dom's got the title that he won off him, so he could go back for the title, right, on the main roster. So that would be cool to see.
A couple other interesting points that I want to talk about from NXT. I'm not going to cover the whole show. I've got lots of notes, so I could. But I'm not going to.
We ain't got the time, man. We got so much to cover.
We had a promo battle between Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker in prep for their match at No Mercy in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
One of Baron's best lines that he mentioned was the fact that he has ended the careers of 2 Olympic gold medalists in WWE. So one being Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, of course.
Yep.
And then now that Gable Stevenson's gone, Baron's taken credit for that too,
Interesting.
which is fantastic heel work.
Great heel work, absolutely.
Fantastic.
So No Mercy, is that an NXT
That's gonna
pay-per-view,
be-
or is that just
NXT.
It's an NXT.
So if you watch all the NXT, like they used to have NXT Takeover, whatever.
Yeah.
They now all changed them so that they're now all NXT old pay per view name.
Yeah, okay.
Like they got NXT Halloween Havoc.
That's cool. I like that.
Mercy.
I want to watch that match.
Vengeance Day. Well, it's
My boy
next
Baron.
Sunday, so we can probably
weekend.
watch
Boy
it
Baron.
before the
Love Barry.
podcast if we want. But yeah, the only other thing I want to talk about from that show that was like good. So Tyler Bate won his invitational match, which now sets him up to verse Butch next week, who they won match of the year in 2017. So
On NXT.
I think you're going to have to tune in next week to catch that match.
No
'cause
pressure.
It's going to be fantastic.
That's
Because when you think Tyler Bate was the one who dethroned Gunther as
true. Okay.
NXT UK champion. Or maybe it was Ilya.
Geez, some good stuff coming up with NXT.
But yeah.
Ilya's Dragunov, man.
Good shit in the line for next week. So we got that match, and we've also got Dom versus what's his name? Carmelo, that's the one.
Dragunov, man, he goes so hard into him. Like he just
fantastic.
hits as hard. He takes every bump possible. I can't wait for him to get to the main roster.
Oh, you know what? I was watching it, and I was like, I don't think he's going to be a good fit on the main roster because, like, I was watching.
Assuming Gunther gets past Chad in the IC title for the next few months, take out Dragunov and just let him and Gunther just go.
It'd be so good.
Oh my god, it'd be so amazing.
But I just feel like he'd be wasted on the main roster. Like they wouldn't use him to his potential.
Yeah,
which would just be absolute shit to have him go up there.
possibly.
I feel like if Chad beats Gunther at some point soon for the Intercontinental, I think Gunther's going to be gone for a while. In honesty.
Oh, good to go straight for the world heavyweight title.
No.
Well, where's he going?
He'll be back at the Rumble, baby.
Are you
He'll be the surprise 30th entrant from Cody being at number 1.
Nah.
Because it was reverse of last year. But we'll see. Okay, so NXT, man, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to check out a bit more of it. I definitely really am excited for Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin.
Well, yeah,
Baron Corbin deserves.
Maybe we can watch it before we film for the podcast.
We can check that out. Sure. Fantastic. Now, really quickly, I'm sure some of you have seen the really odd reporting about Matt Riddle coming back from India, getting off the plane, drunk as a skunk, and uploading a video on Instagram for about half an hour or so, accusing what they call Port Authority, which is their version of our Border Force, of sexually assaulting him. And then hours later, it was reported by sources like TMZ that both parties played it down and said, just a misunderstanding, nothing to see here. And obviously we haven't seen Matt Riddle since.
He had bronchitis, though.
Okay.
That's why he wasn't on TV, he had bronchitis.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Convenient bronchitis.
And I believe there was something like an inner ear infection or something at the same time. He's just super sick, guys. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
That's what happens when you travel to India and eat bad food, I guess.
Let's see how Endeavour deal with it. Now that they're in charge, TKO. I mean, let's be honest, they've had UFC fighters that have been tested positive and they still come back later, so maybe they won't care as much. Now, obviously, talking about Raw really quickly, the big thing that everyone's talking about, and I know I'm skipping to the end of the show, but obviously it's, a big talking point, so I'm going to start with it, was what it ended with, was the return of Nia Jax. My hole!
My hole! Can we just talk about how the majority of the crowd did not give a shit about her being back?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not against it.
I mean, she's going to be a credible threat for Rhea, which is what we needed, which is what we've been discussing.
And also they're trying to now keep Raquel away from Rhea so they can fight later.
Yeah.
So by having someone else for Rhea to fight.
Because that Raquel's got to really be back because she did that back thing again.
You know who's got a bigger back? Jordan Grace. You saw.
Yeah, but that's Tina.
Speaking of backs, let's get back to what we're talking about. But yeah, no, I did notice the lack of enthusiasm.
Yeah. And the fact that it was the last ever Raw run under the non-TKO, so the Vince run WWE, and it was Samoan squashing a fan favourite at the end of the show.
Well, and what's interesting as well is since that's all happened, because obviously she's copped quite a bit online with all the keyboard warriors getting on there and saying their bit, and Oscar has actually come out and defended her and said that this is bullying, it's not fair on her, she deserves...
And we've kind of touched on it before, it is wrestling, and it's that's why we don't really like talking much about what Seth Rollins has done, because it just happens sometimes. It's unfortunate that it's happened so frequently with that one person, though.
Yeah.
Which does reflect as maybe it's a her thing, but...
It's been a while. Maybe she's going to be
it's how the business is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, though, right? I'm sure there's other people that have been injured more often and maybe you just haven't heard about it. And obviously, there's been a lot of focus. And let's be honest, it all really started when she punched Becky in the face. Yeah. That's when it really all kicked off. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure there's other people that get hurt in different spots and... maybe you just don't hear about it as much because obviously we know what the wrestling
about Ridge Holland lately as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know what it's like when wrestling crowds get onto something, they just don't let it go. They just don't let it go, and they'll just jump
I think look, she's fine. She's the monster heel that show needed because we've said before in the past that SmackDown at the higher level had all of the women. They have Bianca, Charlotte, Asuka, Io, Bayley, etc. Raw had Rhea. Yeah. Especially when they moved Becky to NXT. So I think this is good. Like I said, it's the feud for Rhea. It lets her prove that she is that big, strong, dominant champion and she can smash around someone's big
because she's been squashing everyone.
Yeah. So
I hope Nia doesn't win.
Yeah. It's needed. No, I don't think she'll win. But I think she was needed on the show and let's see how it plays out.
It's like I'm teleporting myself to Vietnam. Because I'm just traumatized by that.
Oh, jeez. Another big talking point was obviously Gunther and Imperium having their celebration for breaking the record held by the prestigious Honky Tonk Man.
Honky Tonk.
Now it's been broken, so they don't have to speak. They don't have to speak of the Honky Tonk Man.
Honky Tonk Man.
And it was a bit of an interesting one because obviously Chad Gable came out. They had a pretty good little sort of promo, and Gunther accused him of being a terrible father.
With the bad dad stuff.
A disgusting, terrible father.
I like it, man. Get it in there.
No, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was, but we've had this story with Ray.
But that was between a disgruntled son and his father.
You can't reinvent the wheel every time.
Okay.
I get what you're saying, but it's a completely different situation.
It's not going to be a ladder match for, custody of Gable's kids.
Gable's kid on a pole.
But the really interesting bit was obvious that they started having a fight and Chad Gable was outnumbered. Otis came out, and then your mate Champ made an appearance, which was a little bit of an interesting development.
Yeah, and then they did the 6-man tag.
Yeah,
I expected Ciampa to do a turn on him.
No,
not yet.
This is how you keep.
That's how odd I thought that it was that Ciampa came out to help.
This is how you keep Gunther and Gable feuding, but not having singles matches. Is that you could throw them in amongst tag matches with Imperium. You have triple 6-man tags.
That I sort of got the feeling from what was being said that Ciampa wanted to challenge for the Intercontinental title.
So then you do a feud in the middle between.
Yeah, and then you can stretch out the other match that Chad and
Gunther had some freaking great matches in NXT. That'd be
hopefully they're going to do
a bomb feud to have on the main roster.
Yeah,
surely.
I mean, let's be honest. That's why I actually do think that Gunther was too low on the top 10 at number 4. Because you name me a bad match that guy has had in the last 12 months.
I can't.
You can't think of one, right? Yeah.
We
I
can think of several with John Moxley.
Yes, exactly. We'll stop going back to the list.
Stop going to the mud show.
And then obviously we've been talking about it for a while, and they seem to be doing a soft heel turn, as we call it, with Mr. McIntyre.
Yeah.
They seem to be doing it in a really slow way, which is interesting. I guess because everyone could see it coming anyway, so why just rush it? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm getting a little bit sort of like, well, can you just hit someone with a chair or something and
Choose turn,
get it done with? Yeah. So that was interesting.
I thought it was interesting that they booked in Jay versus Drew for next week.
I think that's cool.
Maybe Jay's going to have to go through all of Roman's former opponents
Maybe.
to actually cement his place and have people not hate him on Raw.
Did they mention at all on this Raw about the draft, who they're drafting across? They kind of...
No.
We've
It's
let
all
that linger a
been,
bit.
yeah, they're letting it linger.
I think that's going to be a slow burn.
Yeah. Well, now that a certain someone turned up, I don't think they necessarily need someone to come over there that quickly just yet.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen later. And then the other one I wanted to talk about was obviously Seth came out and again asked Shinsuke, come on down to the ring, let's do this, title on the line. And they had this really weird backstage video with Shinsuke beating up Ricochet as if Ricochet is like all of a sudden Seth's best mate.
Don't forget that we got another amazing Shinsuke Nakamura promo package.
Oh yeah, sorry, I should have.
And then another
touched on that, but
3.5-star average Shinsuke versus Ricochet match, which we've seen before.
They didn't have a match this week.
Oh, that was last
that was last
week.
week.
See, it's
No, but now he
Shinsuke
just
beat up Ricochet.
He beat up
backstage.
Ricochet as if to annoy Seth, and that's my point. Is but where's this? Why would Seth care?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't make sense.
Ricochet
to me.
said that, Seth, you don't have to carry this all on your shoulders, man.
So that makes them mates or
Yeah,
something.
absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
That's storytelling.
I don't like
I
it.
know I
I
said
don't
last
like
week I was excited by it. That segment took back my excitement a
Okay.
bit, not going to lie. And then your mate, Akira Tozawa,
Oh, okay.
was squashed by The Miz.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
No, that's all right.
Miz had to get a win somewhere, dude. He's like 33-2 or something for the year.
And
so-
that really built up to the match with LA Knight.
Oh,
Smackdown,
dude, we're
which
going
was
to get to that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We're going to get to
Before we move on, unless you've got any more notes from Raw you want to discuss?
that. No, not particularly.
Can I just say that I freaking called it? I told you they were going to team up Shayna and Zoe. And it's exactly what we got teased with
thought
this
that.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agreed with you on that.
Stupid.
Yeah. No, you're on with that.
Push Shayna as a dominant singles competitor so she can feud with Rhea. None of this Nia Jax stuff. You've got a better option sitting right there than Nia Jax.
Remind me, I mean, we can't move off from Raw just yet because we have not really spoken about Judgment Day and how they run Raw.
Oh, yes, more teasing Jey Uso to join. Can we talk about, I've got a note here, Jay's reaction to finding out Rhea is a fan? He was like,
Yeah, that was
really?
that little look. It was like you,
I
Dave, if you
think-
had she was a fan of you.
I think everyone would react like that.
Do you reckon it was a waste of Cody Rhodes? Because I know that they did the whole Cody's back on Raw thing, and then
What'd they do?
exactly.
I can't remember what happened with
I
Cody.
mean, it was only a week ago. Ted, you took notes, did you not?
This is also probably one of the problems with us filming on a Sunday.
This is
Just
so fun.
5 days after Raw here.
Yeah, well,
It's just like we forget a lot of shit.
I can't even remember what Cody actually did.
Yeah.
Did he
He
do?
brawled with Dominic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Again.
Can we talk?
Okay.
Actually, now that you mention that, can we
Yeah.
talk about the fact that JD McDonough came out with him?
Yes.
Yet they haven't actually like cemented him as a member of Judgment Day, and he's meant to be doing
They
little
seem
ins
to
with
be-
Finn. Like, why? Why did we get no explanation?
Well, I think
we didn't even
Triple-
get like a backstage segment saying, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you can be part of the Judgment Day," or like kind of tease it, like, "Oh, you've still got to prove yourself." Yada yada.
I think this is Triple H's strategy with everything, where he doesn't lock things in. He's letting things sort of just fall, and then because if someone gets injured or something happens, he can change it all really quickly without it looking ridiculous. I
okay.
think that's what's going on here, because it seems like that a lot of the storylines that are happening, there's so many different directions that could go, and we're going to talk about that when we talk about SmackDown in a minute, because there's a million different directions they can go. What happened there?
Yeah.
But before we get to SmackDown, obviously the really big thing that then happened after Raw, in between Raw and SmackDown, was the official merger of UFC and WWE to become TKO Holdings.
Yes.
And the most important thing from that press conference was someone who appeared to look like a Spanish version of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. What the hell is he doing to his face, man?
He was because he's trying to hide himself so that he can go to get
I mean,
all the numbers from AEW events.
Okay, so he had all those. He had all those. He had all those sexual assault allegations. Don't you think you'd have your PR team say to you, you should look less like a creepy old man, not more like a creepy old man? He seems to be. He's not helping himself, man. I'll tell you that.
He's had that for a few months now, though.
I know, and it looks even more ridiculous every time. Dude.
One thing I want to mention about this merger.
Yeah.
No better time than now to bring in Conor McGregor to the WWE.
Yeah,
that was my first thought when the news broke. I was like, oh.
I think that's something that I reckon that's a Raw After Mania option because there's too much going on already at the moment.
Give him the Ronda Rousey treatment and give him a match.
Yeah, but there's just too much going on already, man. I reckon a Raw After Mania.
Stand Conor in WWE. Oh my god.
Oh.
No.
He'd be so cocky. I'm a real fighter.
No.
Would he end up with the Brawling Brutes? Would his first feud
banger after banger with Sheamus?
His first feud would be against Sheamus to see who's the real Irishman in a potato match.
Potato on a pole. Look at bits.
So we had the merger, and I personally feel like what happened on Smackdown. Do you need to change your light here?
Oh, yeah, we're going to Smackdown.
We're changed to Smackdown. Yeah, we're changing. Sorry, I should have pointed that out. I feel like the changeover to Endeavour running things and TKO, I feel like had a big influence on what happened on Smackdown because it was the massive return of Pat McAfee.
Yeah,
which was like,
that's awesome. That's sick.
I don't like him, man. I think he's overrated.
Here's how things unfolded yesterday when Smackdown. Because Dan started watching it live. I was out at the shops. Dan's doing stuff with his horses because he's a weirdo.
Wow.
Ooh, shots fired.
How dare you, man?
So Dan starts raving about Smackdown. I was like,
you've got to watch it. You've got to watch it.
I was like, holy, stay off everything. Go watch Smackdown right now.
I got home, I think maybe like half an hour after Smackdown started it. And I was like, oh, Pat McAfee. Okay, is that it?
I thought exactly.
And then like,
was that it?
In the back of my mind, I thought about where Pat McAfee was earlier that day yesterday.
Interviewing The Rock.
And who he was with. And then I was kind of like, oh. And then he's, during the promo with Austin Theory.
The People's Show.
Yeah. And then that's when it was like, and then the music hits. And I was just like, yeah!
Dude,
so excited.
I popped big.
So excited.
Yeah, super cool.
Well, I'm so glad that, like, for those of us that are in Australia, we get Smackdown like 10 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah,
so we don't get the opportunity to watch the Pat McAfee show live, realistically, because it's like 1 a.m. or whatever. Yeah. So if you're in America and you're a smart wrestling person and you're like, oh, Pat McAfee, because like you watch him for the college football and stuff like that.
Because he was an hour down the road.
Smackdown's in Denver tonight. Oh, that's interesting.
Figure it out, yeah.
And then he's doing his show and The Rock's on Pat McAfee's show. Oh, they're talking about wrestling. They're both in Denver.
Yeah. We don't get that privilege.
Yeah.
I think I know what's going to happen tonight. Yeah. And like we didn't have that at all, so it was a pure surprise.
We saw the TikToks about Pat McAfee and The Rock with that podcast, that show earlier in the day.
I saw it after.
No, I saw it before Smackdown, but like even then I wasn't like, because I didn't know where they were. I just saw the videos. I didn't know they were in the same state.
Yeah.
So.
The way that the crowd popped though, like
I haven't heard something that big in so long.
And lost their
The whole crowd was on their feet.
I do love the fact that obviously there must have been some sort of message relayed to Pat McAfee by someone ringside to mention this show is 2 hours, and The Rock just went, who cares, baby? The Rock's here. And just
But like, if there's anyone that's going to get away with that sort of stuff.
Oh, it's The Rock.
100%.
He'll get away with it every time. And what he'll also get away with is getting the crowd to chant, you are an asshole.
That was fantastic.
And I love the fact that they had to bleep out The Rock saying it, but then didn't make any attempt to try and blur out the crowd saying it, so you could hear the word asshole anyway.
If you watch the clip that WWE uploaded to YouTube, all blurred.
It's all blurred. Yeah, okay.
So we got to hear the crowd, but yeah, it's not the way they did.
Was it? Did they all read the memo before coming out too that it was Black Singlet Day?
Yeah.
Was there a point to that?
That's just Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
And I reckon
even The Rock had his own black singlet on, and so did Austin Theory. I was like, there's something weird going on here.
What do we feel about Austin Theory for all of this? Because I mean, I know none of us are as like high on him as what he was.
I don't see a potential match. Like I feel like that was just good hype. But for him to be in that position,
he got a really good promo against both of them.
Yeah. He did fantastic.
Foil.
He led me on when he started saying about I'm the real Austin. I'm not going to lie. I started getting on the edge of my chair. I'm like, no, is he going to be? And obviously, Rock put the water on those flames real quick. He dampened that real quick. I think there's a couple of really good options here.
All right.
And obviously, because then later on we saw the face-off face-off of John Cena and The Rock reuniting and having a hug though, and it was good. That was
John
cool.
Cena saying, "Welcome home."
Yes, exactly. And obviously, John Cena has been having a little bit of back and forth with Mr. Grayson Waller, and he appeared on the Grayson Waller thing later on in the show.
Yeah.
And obviously,
I
have
think I see where you're
A-Town
going.
Down Under. We could see a tag match between The Rock and John Cena versus A-Town Down Under. I think could be a good way to do it. Because obviously, John Cena and The Rock are probably both not quite at the level to have a singles match for a long time. But if you put them in a tag match against those two guys, they could put on a good half-hour plus match.
Question is, where do
Especially
you
tag
do
match.
that tag match? Do you leave that for Survivor Series if Rock's got time? Like, yeah, when's it going to happen?
He did say welcome home, didn't he? So that's sort of...
So the other thing too, I had a chat to Reece about this beforehand. So I watched the whole Pat McAfee show with The Rock and stuff in the whole interview. It's a really good interview with The Rock. If you want to go watch it, he is one of the most charismatic people in the entire world. Like, you cannot not like Dwayne Johnson. He is phenomenal, right?
Sorry, I'm singing a clip of the Moana song.
Oh, the singing the Moana stuff to the crowd.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
He is brilliant. They discussed WrestleMania 39.
Yeah, where it was mentioned that
It was locked in.
It was locked
it was
in.
locked in. Mm.
And then, so when that happened, Pat lost his shit.
For those who are unaware, what we mean by locked in was Roman versus The Rock.
Yes, was agreed on between Nick Khan, Vince McMahon, and The Rock.
Yeah.
Early 2022, before
Did you say that again?
McMahon.
Nick
Nick
Khan,
Khan,
Vince McMahon, and The Rockman. But that was agreed.
And Roman.
In 2022. So they did say that The Rock said, though, that they only wanted to do it if they had a story and something that they could give to the fans that would progress the story. Because whatever match they do isn't the end of a story, it's the start of a story, is what The Rock had said. So they couldn't find a way that was going to be the start of whatever the story was going to be, so they didn't do it.
You know, that worries me so much now that we've heard that Roman isn't going to lose the title at WrestleMania 40 and he's going to go on with it.
Because the then thing from The Rock said was that there's a merger coming up, which we talked about, some few things changing, and WrestleMania next year is in Philadelphia. And everyone popped.
And it almost sounded like Rock was like, it's going to happen. Rock's going to be there. He made it sound like that.
Yep, he absolutely did.
Whether it stays like that or not.
Look, I
Yet to
have
be seen.
no problem with The Rock having a match with Roman at WrestleMania 40. The only problem I have with that is there not be a title involved. The title better have been dropped before you get there.
Exactly what Reece and I had a chat about beforehand was where do you get to a point where Roman can drop the title?
Well, it's going to have to be before the Rumble, I would assume, or just after. It's going to be around there somewhere. Maybe at the Rumble.
Chamber.
That's
maybe.
only that's the only one that's probably big enough for him to drop it. But are you going to have your in for 3.5 years to drop the title at a Royal Rumble and not a WrestleMania? And do you drop it to Cody? How do you get Cody in that story so that he takes it? Or do you have...
I've been telling you all this time, it doesn't have to be Cody.
Who is it then?
I know, but like...
But you know you're going to disappoint a lot of people if it's not.
But like, here's the thing. Like, I get the whole Cody has to finish the story, but like, it doesn't have to be Roman that he gets the title off. It's just that title that he needs.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
the story.
That's
it's
true.
not with Roman. It's that
I just
belt.
feel like it would be bad because he didn't beat Roman and he got this close, right? So he's still got to finish that because if he's never beaten him for the title, then that kind of
assuming
ruins
it's
that story.
not Cody that beats him, right? Let's assume that somebody else beats him at the Rumble.
Well,
Let's pitch, I don't know, LA Knight. And say that LA Knight beats Roman Reigns and then Cody beats LA Knight. That story that Cody has is nowhere near as good to finish going against anyone that's not Roman Reigns.
I had an interesting sort of thought when I was thinking about it a bit earlier because I was like, Cody's got to finish the story. Everyone's like, it's got to be with Roman. What if we get a Damian Priest cash in and then Cody pins Priest to get the title? It gets turned into a triple threat.
True.
Similar to how Seth won it, because Seth never pinned Brock to get that title. He pinned Roman.
Look, and this is the great thing I said before, right? There's so many options you could go. Like Triple H has done such a good job where he's got so many avenues he can go down. No matter what happens, you've got storylines to back up. No matter injury, people quitting, getting fired, whatever. Like there's so many avenues, and that's what I love about this is it's not as predictable as when Mr. McMahon was there.
McMahon.
So, and then speaking of LA Knight, obviously he had his other match on SmackDown against The Miz.
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good match. And what I was shocked at is he got a clean win.
Yeah.
That's what I was sort of shocked at. I thought for sure there was going to be an interference.
Like, the match was, like, the flow of it was excellent. I don't think there was a down point in that match. It was just constant, like, spots, segments, fluctuation of moves and all that sort of stuff. Then you cut to the promo that he cut after the match.
Yeah.
That's why he got the clean win.
Yeah,
true.
Well, now there's the tease, obviously, that he's going after Roman, because we had that picture afterwards of Heyman and Solo watching the screen, like they do from the side.
But you also had Heyman in that last week when he cut him off, and Heyman said, you know.
And I think you know, I can't remember which one of you mentioned it, because again, you both look so alike. The fact that you reckon it's going to be very similar to the Sami Zayn, that was you, right?
Yeah, that was
so you don't think he's going to win, but in the match they get that close. You go, oh my god, they might do it.
Yeah,
I feel like that's what's going to happen. Is LA Knight's going to get that close, but not quite get
He's
there?
not going to get it.
Yeah, but they're going to.
If Roman's got the title, he's not getting it.
They're going to put on a hell of a match. It's going to be great, man.
And I think this also needs to put to bed all of the people that hate The Miz. Like, you can not like the character of The Miz, but you have to respect how good he is.
Oh, 100%.
He works so well as promos. Like, yes, he skull-crushing finale, the air the other week.
That was brilliant.
And he's beat up Tozawa. That's cheap heat. But you put him in a proper match with someone like LA Knight, and he goes for 15
and he's putting him over.
And he puts him over. He's brilliant.
He's doing his job.
Yep.
Yeah. Miz, and you know what? Maybe it won't be... I mean, it's the right show. Maybe Miz, we were talking about before, if he teams up with Waller and Austin Theory as well,
Down Under.
and you could have a 3-man tag match, or 6-man tag match, sorry, 3-on-3. Pat McAfee could get involved as well, because obviously Miz has got a lot of heat against John Cena and The Rock, because they obviously get involved in his stuff.
That's actually an interesting point, because one of the things I've been hearing about this merger that's happened is they're going to be doing a belt revamp. Like doing white costumes, and they're going to be introducing a trios tag title.
But I really don't want it.
Nah, don't do it, man. I think it's too much.
But
just give us good tag titles, man.
But that's where Miz and A-Town Down Under could come in here.
Not true. Yeah,
So
he's got to
them the belts.
What you want to do, right? Let's me pitch a theory to this. You want to do Miz and A-Town Down Under? I'm okay with that. I want them feuding against LA Knight. Yeah. With The Rock and Stone Cold. It's
about pipe
all
dreams.
3 of the same person.
Only in our wildest dreams, man. Only in our wildest.
Imagine that WrestleMania.
I do think Austin's going to turn up at some point, though. I feel like that might be a thing. And I think this is smart, what they've done with SmackDown, right? Because all of a sudden, we were talking before about how SmackDown was definitely nowhere near as good as Raw. And now you're going to tune in every week because you're like, who's going to turn up this week? We've had John. We've had The Rock. For those of you who love him, Pat McAfee. But who's going to turn up next, right?
That's good.
Yeah, okay. You guys can love him.
What's your beef with Pat?
I don't even know who he is, man.
He was a former NFL punter.
Oh, great for him.
From the Indianapolis Colts.
Awesome.
You can't deny on ESPN.
You know this is an Aussie podcast, right?
Yeah.
So?
Doesn't mean I
Because
don't
you like
the
Vegemite?
How many Aussies go over and become punters in the NFL?
There's
A
so
lot
many
of Aussies, yeah. But I couldn't name them.
I couldn't name them either, but Jesus, don't shit on Pat McAfee just because you
I'm not shitting on him. I just said I just don't know who he is.
Well, do some research. Go watch some ESPN.
Nah,
You can't deny Pat's a hell of a charismatic.
Absolutely.
he definitely can talk on the mic, and I get all that.
And we all know that his biggest fan is Michael Cole. So he marks out for
Every time. And then, I just really wanted to touch on our boy AJ losing again.
But like it was to Finn Balor, so I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, with interference from Jimmy, obviously. So there's something going on with Jimmy.
More
and
Judgment
AJ.
Day and Bloodline.
Well, and then AJ
shenanigans
as well to go against Jimmy. So that's that bit at the end too with Solo when Solo said, "I know what I have to do," and then he gets out there.
But it had nothing to do with LA Knight, which is he said it after watching LA Knight's promo.
Yeah.
It made you think something's going to happen there, but no.
No, but it was more around Jimmy.
Yeah,
and then when he's face to face with Cena, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then he turns right at Jimmy's face, like, oh shit.
Well, and that's obviously speaking about the fact of we're probably jumping ahead a little bit, but the Grayson Waller effect. Obviously, John Cena was the guest, and I love. You know what? I'm loving Waller more and more every week.
There's not much else to talk about, so we can jump.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple of things.
If we do want to touch on the thing that happened beforehand,
You talking about LWO?
LWO and the
I don't give a shit about that.
Did you know
No
that
one cares.
Escobar challenged Mysterio to the US
Oh,
title?
no, wait, no, it's not that coming.
How awesome is that?
What I thought was funny was that they squashed him about
It was a
minute and half.
squash match.
Yeah, but that was 100% because The Rock went 10 minutes over at the start.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, I clicked onto that as well, but just cut the match. Have it on next
Nah,
week.
you need Street Profits.
But now the Street Profits after the bell obviously
Proper heel work.
attacked, proper heel work, and they're hitting Rey Mysterio. That's going to get you heat.
Yep.
Because he's everyone's darling.
mine.
Come on, man.
Not mine.
But it was very obvious because Escobar was the only one wearing this suit. I thought they were going to actually do the heel turn there.
I thought that as well, but
And obviously they're planting that seed to make you think it's going to happen because he was
Can't
the only
rush
one
it.
in a suit.
Can't rush
so,
Grayson Waller effect.
Grayson Waller effect, I thought it was awesome. The fact that he kept talking over John Cena. I love the fact that John Cena is giving this time because obviously you've talked about it before. He's been accused of sort of burying people on the mic, but he's giving them the time now to talk over him.
He didn't talk at all.
Bit of goofy, no.
Didn't say a word.
Exactly. And, Grayson, I think, he does a really good job, man.
The line that
Grayson's
Grayson
fantastic.
said, the line that he said, lad, you are possibly the greatest of all time, but you are not the greatest right now.
Yeah, it was good. Perfect.
Nailed it. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's so good on the mic. And he's 100% right. Like, John Cena is probably the greatest of all time,
Yep.
if you think about it. But right now, I would say a lot of people on that roster would whoop John Cena.
Yeah, true. He'd probably agree with you, mate. He knows he's not up to his best anymore.
I think he's at that point in his career where it's time for him to start elevating
And he's doing
talent.
it.
Yeah. But then this is where it all crosses over really weirdly, right? So then Jimmy Uso came out again.
I don't think it was a weird crossover.
No, I don't know. It's a bit interesting.
They had the face off the other week.
Yeah.
Jimmy and John Cena.
Yeah, Cena said the wrong
Sorry. Jimmy Janetti.
Everybody's having face-offs with everybody. And then obviously AJ came out because he wants revenge on Jimmy.
You just hyped up Papa H saying that he's got so many different things going just in case.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing again. True.
And you're now
Yeah.
complaining.
No, I'm not complaining. And then obviously Solo came out, saved Jimmy from getting the
Only because
the FU
Heyman told him to,
Yeah.
attitude adjustment. Sorry, yeah, Heyman told him to
which is the call from Roman.
call Roman Reigns. Call Roman Reigns.
Call Roman Reigns.
Does that work? No, it doesn't.
No, you have to.
We don't have
you,
Roman
you
Reigns.
have to do the thingy, and then you have to say, "Hey Siri, call Roman Reigns."
Oh, now my phones are going off.
But that's where I'm not certain about whether or not The Rock and Cena are actually going to team up or not because it seems
will.
like maybe
Absolutely.
AJ and Cena are going to team up first. So
There we go.
Near Watch doesn't know who Roman Reigns is.
Sorry.
I don't think that, as cool as it would be to have the Rock and Cena tag team, I think that they know they are both two massive stars. You've got to keep them as separate parts so they can each rub someone else.
I could see Cena and AJ against Jimmy and Solo.
one I would see.
That would be a good match to have.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Because we did say when Cena came back, the first thing we said was, we don't want him as part of the bloodline. But like, the way that they're slowly sort of feeding him through it, rather than him being like, I could beat you, Roman, they're kind of just like having them pick fights with Cena, not the other way around.
Yeah.
It's allowing Cena to elevate them without putting anyone.
Now let's go back a little bit too, right? Because we're actually running under time, which is awesome. We're on time, which I'm actually very surprised at.
We thought
The
we would
amount
run
covered.
very over.
I've still got there's a bunch of things that I missed, but we can talk about.
That's okay.
Oh, there's still something I want to talk about.
But the main thing, obviously, because we're talking about how Judgment Day and that they seem to be trying to get both Jimmy and Jay to join the bloodline. What do we think about that? Do you think there is a potential for a Uso reunion, but within
No,
Judgment Day?
no, they're doing Jimmy versus Jay at WrestleMania, 100%.
Yeah.
They're not bringing
No.
it up.
Okay.
There's that. No.
Nah, not happening.
No.
I think that you keep.
A new Ministry of Darkness?
Oh God, no.
No?
They're saying
What would they be? Would they be the judge line?
No, just
Or
stop.
the
Just
blood
stop.
day.
Blood
You're
day.
embarrassing
The
yourself.
Blood Day. That sounds terrible.
that's horrible.
Blood Day. Gangrel would have.
Sounds like a
issue with that.
second-rate pay-per-view.
It does, doesn't it? Well, what other notes did you guys have? Because we are under a bit of time here. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we go ahead with
I did take notes for the Asuka and Bailey match, but it was my notes were decent match, good flow, terrible finish.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
That's
pretty
about
much.
all you have to say
Like
about that,
Shotzi.
yeah.
Just that. Although,
No, that was last week. This week was Bailey versus Asuka.
Shotzi.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
so to be fair, my son and I were watching this match.
It was so delayed.
Yeah, but Shotzi
yeah.
scared the shit out of him because you just didn't see it. Like they went up to the barricade and then she just popped up.
Dude, it is pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's a bit.
But it was like having that and then Bailey roll in the ring, and then went for the over the shoulder pin instead of
that was super
roll-up.
bad.
Yeah,
that was a bot.
didn't-
It just delayed it so much. No, it wasn't the fact it was a botch. It just like slowed the finish. That to me wasn't a surprise roll up worthy of a 3 count.
Correct.
Terrible finish.
The couple of notes that I made was we haven't touched on yet. The Royal Rumble's been announced to be in Tampa Bay next year.
Oh, okay.
So they've announced that now,
Cool.
including the date and the location.
So it's not happening in Australia?
No, but there is scuttlebutt of
Yes.
Perth.
They keep talking about it. I just don't know what pay-per-view it's going to be. It would have been great if it was a Rumble.
No way.
Here's my theory, because rumours are it's going to be before March, before the AFL season starts.
Mm-hmm.
The pay-per-view we usually have around that time is Elimination Chamber, but I don't think they'll pull that trigger. As much as I would love for it to
that'd be
happen,
insane.
I don't think they're going to pull that trigger.
What's the one? Is there anything between Rumble and Elimination Chamber?
There's something smaller, isn't there?
No, it's usually, depending on how WWE wants to do things, it's usually Rumble, Elimination Chamber, then WrestleMania, but sometimes I might slot it
They only put
fourth
another
in
one
there.
in there sometimes.
Yeah, it's like every few years they'll slot another one in there.
Look, the most
So
important thing
that's
is-
what I'm thinking we're going to get. We're going to get like
February pay-per-view.
a third one in there. That it's not going to be Elimination Chamber, but it will just be
Yeah.
a pay-per-view.
Make sure you get your friends to subscribe so we can get this monetized and then pay for us to
go
go and
back.
watch whatever the pay-per-view is in Perth so we can come back.
Here's the thing, we were talking about it beforehand. It's apparently days away from being announced.
Wow.
So
Well,
dude.
Grayson Waller just put a tweet out saying
Yeah.
he needs to buy a new jersey, and the jersey he put was a picture of the old Perth Western Reds.
Yes.
So if that doesn't tell you, it's coming.
He's hinting.
It's
Okay,
coming.
So who doesn't
He's-
have a proper job here can jump on and buy tickets as soon as they're available? I'm looking at you, Dan.
I have a proper job, but I can probably do that anyway.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can swing it.
You're designated ticket man.
Here's my thing though. I've got so much shit going on in February already.
I'm still going.
For me, I hope it's like late February, because if not, I'm going to have to reschedule some concerts.
It does depend on the date, man. But I've already told my partner. I said, man, if it's coming, we're going. I don't care.
End of.
It's once every 20 years or whatever they do normally, because that's what happened last time with Showdown. So the fact that they've come back sooner than that, and also
Especially
with
as a
the
pay-per-view.
way that wrestling and WWE are going at the moment, man, I'd be even more excited than Showdown was. So
Yeah, totally.
to see it. So what else you got, Dan?
Two other points that I've got that are just kind of more jokes than anything else.
Oh, here we go.
I did send you guys a picture during the week. I was watching Raw on KO, which is the streaming service that we have from Voxtel. Mm-hmm. And if you are a KO subscriber, go watch Raw, because it gives you a little blurb of what happens on the show. And it was like, Cody Rhodes returns on Raw and Gunther has his celebration. And in the main event, you have Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Tit.
Fight for that tit, man.
Sorry, they ran out of letters.
I don't even want to say. Oh, Raquel really needs to get that.
To get what?
Get that tit. Anyway, let's just move on from that.
Wow.
To give it back.
Yeah. She
Anyway.
can carry it, man. She's got the back to carry him.
And the other point I made was that Becky, obviously we've talked about Becky Lynch winning. She's now calling herself Ratings Rebecca on Twitter, which is pretty funny because she got all the ratings for NXT
Yeah, okay.
going down there, which is awesome.
That's funny.
But
I'll give it that one.
the second lowest TV ratings for Raw in the last 10 years was this Monday night.
Ooh.
Possibly due to the fact that it was September 11th, so I think that probably had some
that probably-
input
Yeah.
for America.
Yeah.
And it was also against the first night of Monday Night Football for the NFL for the season.
Yeah,
so
of course.
that will bring you down, but then I guess if you're WWE and you throw your big boy The Rock at it the next week, you're probably going to get those numbers straight back up.
Yeah, true. Well, they did say that Raw actually did quite well compared, because their numbers actually weren't that low considering that football season had just sort of started.
No, it dropped.
So. Yeah, but not by as much
Not by as much as
NXT.
they could have, but it was still the second lowest in a
It did quite well. Okay. Anything else, Reece?
The main thing I had at the start of the week before all the interesting news happened was the fact that Dwayne Johnson has been keeping the Rotunda's houses fully stocked with meals and groceries. Props to him.
Yeah, good on it.
Well,
man.
and
like,
let's
what-
touch on The Rock again.
Yeah.
Because we already talked about him in SmackDown. The other thing that he copped a lot of stuff online about was
Was that him and Oprah?
him and
You're
Oprah.
talking
right?
about?
Yeah.
With the Maui fires?
Correct.
Yeah.
He, to a degree, defended himself on the Pat McAfee show. He came out and he said, look, I get why people would be a little frustrated with us. And he goes, but what we've done and the way that they've done it is that all of the money goes directly to the people. So instead of going, like, I'm not going to claim that I understand how it all works anyway, but a lot of times when you donate money to charity funds and stuff, it all goes into a big business thing. They get it, and they spend it out, and it goes through all these different processes and stuff. What they essentially did was they just put money into an account, and now they're giving it to people. So he said all the money that they have donated goes to those families next week.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think the criticism from what I saw, what people were criticising was that Oprah, like other celebrities do when they say charity, they pledge 10 million or whatever it was. But it wasn't her pledging 10 million. It was pledging that the people are going to donate 10 million.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, mate, you're worth $1 billion.
Yeah.
Why don't you help out? Like, people are doing it tough. We're in pretty much, anyway, I won't go into it. But that's where the criticism was from. I don't think it was actually setting it up. It was the fact that she was pledging poor people's money, not her own money.
This is what they should do every time there's some sort of like natural disaster and they do those. Just get all the celebrities to slip a cheeky million in.
Well, look, let's be honest, mate. If the celebrities...
surely they can
I think
spare it.
there are some celebrities that remember that it's people like us that put them in that position to be a celebrity. So, don't forget that your fans are the reason why you have that money. So, anyway, we won't touch on that anymore.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for my notes. We've touched on everything.
Double check my notes.
It better be quick.
Such a big week for wrestling, though.
We're coming up to the most important part of the podcast.
Yeah, no, that's all. Yep, the AEW's a mud show. Spray tattoo.
Mud show.
I'm getting that job.
Rock.
All right, let's move on then.
Yeah,
it is time for Wrestler or Inventor.
Okay.
And we're going to have a bit of a change to the structure this week. Normally, I put up quotes, and you have to guess who said what, but we're not going to do that this week.
We'll keep us on our toes.
Yes, we're changing up a bit. We're still playing for the coveted Wrestler or trophy,
Yep.
which is being defended by Rowdy Roddy Reece over here.
Yeah, it is.
But to explain the difference that don't make fun of that coveted trophy. The difference that we have...
It's all right, he just let the trophy go to his head.
Oh, my God. You really are a dad. That was actually quite funny.
That was a good one.
I'll pay that. So, the difference we have for Wrestler All this week is we're actually going to be guessing Wrestler or Inventor based on names.
Okay.
So, I'm going to give you 5 names.
5.
Oh, you're going for
5 names.
All right.
Yep.
All
Right? And you got to tell me whether it's a wrestler or an inventor.
I'm going to put... I've already got a name that I reckon you're going to use.
Okay, try me. All right, give it a go.
I'm going to write it
back
down
because I don't
now.
want you to cheat.
I reckon you use this person already.
Okay.
You don't get bonus points.
I don't get... sure, but I know who that is.
Points. But if you want to try and guess, if you think it is a wrestler and you want to guess what wrestler it is, feel free to do that too.
All right.
Well, wouldn't that be a giveaway because we're talking about their name?
Well, what do you mean?
But this is their real
This is their real
not
name.
their stage name.
Oh, not stage name.
Okay.
Real name.
I thought you were going with stage name.
No. This is their real life name.
All right.
And you've got to guess.
And I've
if
already
it's
got
a
the
wrestler,
one that I know
right?
he's going to ask. I'm sure of it.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
I need to put so once again, we're going to go through each one. I'm not going to tell you how many of each. And then you put down your answers. We'll go through the end. So the first name I have is Cyril Callister.
Can you spell that for me, please?
Cyril
Yeah.
Callister. Cyril
Use that in
Callister.
a sentence.
My name is Cyril Callister. Nice to meet you.
And I once invented the... Is that...
Shut up, Dan.
You tried.
Trying to ruin the game.
Try.
Man.
Just check.
All right, put down your answers.
Yep.
The next one I have.
Are we going bonus points if we can...
If you guess what they invented or what's the name of the wrestler, sure, bonus points.
okay.
If you can guess what they invented and it's an inventor, I will give you 1,000 points.
Okay.
The next name that we have is Austin Jenkins.
Okay.
What a name.
Austin Jenkins.
Okay.
Have we got our answers?
Yeah.
Okay. Next name, I love this one. Thomas Pestock.
Spell that one for me.
You know how to spell Thomas. So the surname is P-E-S-T-O-C-K.
I need to change some of mine.
Stock.
Pestock.
Okay.
And for those of you at home, obviously they're going to be appearing on the screen. They would have already so far, so as we go. So you can have a guess yourself. Our next name, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, I will spell it for you. Ettor Ewin.
Oh, this one's easy.
E-T-T-O-R-E.
Ettore.
Yeah.
Ettore
Yeah.
Ewin. E-W-E-N.
Yep.
You got that one?
Yep.
I think Reece might know that one.
Yep.
I have a feeling.
Sure do.
The last one I have is Edwin Beard Budding.
Edwin Beard Budding.
And that's exactly how you think beard is, as in the beard on your face. and budding.
Okay, you
Double
didn't. You didn't do the one that I thought you were going to do.
Wait,
No,
what was
I
it?
didn't, did I?
I thought he was going to say Colby Lopez.
No. Who's Colby Lopez?
Seth Rollins.
Is that really his name?
Yep.
Colby Cheese Lopez. There you go. Didn't realise he was Latino.
Yeah, his name's Colby Lopez.
Oh, his name's Seth. Seth freaking Rollins, man.
Tyler.
All right, so
All right.
because you're defending champion, you're going to give the first answer first. So
Yep.
Cyril Callister, what have you got? Wrestler or
I
inventor?
went within. Funny, I had all. I'm not going to give away my answer. I went with Inventor
You
after
went with
changing
inventor.
it.
Okay, and
I
did you guess
initially
it
had
invention
wrestler.
at all?
No.
Okay, what about you, Mr. Daniel?
I said Cyril was a wrestler.
You said Cyril was a wrestler?
I did.
Mr. Cyril Callister was an inventor.
Yes, that's 1 point.
Was the inventor of Vegemite.
Oh,
Fun fact.
We're Australian. We
I
know
gave you
that.
a clue earlier in the show
You did
when I said
mention
about
Vegemite.
Vegemite, so remember that for later. All right, so Dan, Austin Jenkins.
Is a wrestler.
Is a wrestler, and who is it?
Austin Theory.
What do you think?
I didn't guess who it was, but I put wrestler.
You put wrestler? Adam Cole Bay.
Oh, okay. All right, well,
Real name, Austin Jenkins. And obviously you can't be called Austin because there's too many Austins
Quick
already.
summary. I'm up 2-1.
2-1.
yeah, no, that's fair.
Next name we had was Thomas Pestock. What did
I went
you
with
have?
wrestler.
Yeah, went with wrestler.
Didn't guess who it was.
He's an
Guess it
inventor.
was?
He
You reckon it's an
invented the
inventor?
microwave.
Is that your guess?
Yes.
You're wrong. It was a wrestler. It's Baron Corbin.
See,
okay.
I'm a big Baron Corbin fan, so I should have known that.
You should have known that. But you're
The
3-1
local-
up, man.
I'm 3-1 up.
You're 3-1 up, so you've got to get these two and some bonus points and hope he doesn't get it. But I think he's got this next one.
Who's the next one? Ettore Erin.
That's Big E.
Yeah, it's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Big E.
Yeah.
What did you have?
I said wrestler, but I said
Okay.
Enzo.
Oh,
Enzo Amore, but
so
I get a point.
E.
So that's 5 points for me total.
What's his nationality origin? Where does that come from? Is that like a Caribbean sort of name or something?
No,
I gotta look that up because I was quite taken aback by that.
I'm not going to guess because that's racist.
Yeah, okay. We'll look it up later. And then the last one we had was Edwin Beard Budding.
He's an inventor.
Inventor. You both had inventor. What did he invent?
Don't know.
I'm going to have a stab say Edward Beard Budding invented
Beards.
scuba diving gear.
Your guess?
Invented facial shavers? I don't know.
I mean, I guess
I mean, like-
no,
No, I went
he
with
was,
inventor.
He was the inventor of the lawnmower.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Beard Budding. So I believe that means, Mr.
retains.
Rowdy Roddy Reece,
I got
you retain
6 points.
You retain the coveted Wrestler Or trophy. Congratulations, sir.
I'm very
so
proud of
proud of
myself
you.
that I actually guessed
That was good.
pretty well.
Mate, you did a bloody good job. I'm actually surprised at how well
I
you
guessed
did.
4.
Well done.
I knew 1.
Yeah, I knew one too.
So you've now won 2 competitions, and you've won 2 competitions.
Yeah.
So we're tied overall. We're going to have to count up by the end of the year, and
At some point, we're going to have to split
Have a
the
league
streets and you have a
table.
game too.
no,
No?
I like being in control. I'm the puppet master.
That's what I've heard from.
Oh, don't. You just made the list. Oh, jeez. So that was Down Under the Mat
Yeah.
for this week.
Big week.
Around the pool table at Relevancy in Madison Square Garden with Mr. Daniel Danielson, Mr. Rowdy Roddy Reece.
Yeah.
I'm Booker Ted. We're not going to say Mud Show anymore. Look out for the Mud Show jar next week to fund our Christmas party.
Scissor me, macho!
Mud Show! Hey! See you next time, guys.